Let's get it. Welcome back to another episode of Oh No, Not Another Reviewer. And we're going to go ahead and continue where we left off after episode 2. So far we got 10 characters down, still got quite a few more to go. I try to put about 5 in per episode, not to make it lengthy, but not to make it too short, to give some type of, enjoyable content for the duration. So this video, I wanted to start off with Jiraiya. I think Jiraiya was a really good playthrough, right? The design was really good. The feel of Jiraiya was really good. As far as, who he's supposed to be from the anime transitioning over to the actual game. The thing that stood out about Jiraiya the most to me was his voice acting. They did a really solid job on Jiraiya. It's like they pulled it directly from the TV show. Like when he would say, like, bringing down the house jitsu, he said it exactly how he would say it in the show. Bringing down the house jitsu. Like he's from like Las Vegas and he's a greeter or something like that. But had a blast playing with this guy. Normally would never play with Jiraiya. I used to play with him on Naruto Broken Bonds from the Xbox 360. And he was cool on there, but was just too slow for me. Wasn't really my kind of guy. But on here, man, he was an absolute blast. I think his jitsu selection was amazing. I honestly think they should have gave Jiraiya 2 different sets, right? They should have came out with this one and put him in another DLC pack with his awakening stage as far as Sage mode, because there's more to Jiraiya than just this jitsu selection that he has. This is like him not even going full power or going all out, and I think he deserves another character, in my personal opinion. Now, getting back to his jitsus, I love Nido-Jizu, right? Now, I don't really understand why it's as defensively strong as it is, given the fact that in the series, we only got to see him use it at like half power. He wasn't even fully, at strength when he used it. But on here, man, it blocks so many things. And I don't think in the actual series, if Madara was doing like a majestic fireball, he would do Nido-Jizu as a defense. I think it's more so of a defense that would be aimed towards melee attacks, sort of like what Killer Bees is when he goes into that knife stance or that sword stance and he, deflects and kicks everyone off. I think that's more so what it should be, but love it nonetheless. It blocks a lot of jitsus that other ones don't. The other one was the Toad Sage Oil or something like that, which basically restricts people from using ninjutsu. Love that one. That one was also amazing. And bring it down to house jitsu, seeing how he's a toad guy really worked well for him. So I think all around Jiraiya was a stand-up dude to play with, man, especially on base battles. Had a blast playing with him. Now on to Orochimaru. The design and feel of Orochimaru are both good, primarily his movements. When you move left and right or hit the trigger to roll forward, his body turns into a serpent-like movement or the tail of a serpent, which we are all familiar with when it comes down to him, which leaves no question of a doubt that it can only be Orochimaru. So I love the fact that they've added that signature movement to him. But one thing that really concerned me about Orochimaru was his jitsus. They suck. Now look, they don't suck in the area as far as selection. They suck more so in the area as far as performance. Like, for example, let's take his ultimate jitsu, starting with the biggest one. It has many negative things against it, but one of the good things is that you can probably have access to it about twice during one battle. But the negative is the tracking. It's absolutely horrible. Even if it does hit, it doesn't always guarantee to completely kill the opponent, which should always just be a one-hitter quitter anytime ultimate makes contact with an opponent or a character. The second thing I want to speak about is his wind style jitsu. The good thing about it is it shoots through walls and it has a knockback, which is good for like recovery for opponents trying to get back quickly to do damage and things of that sort. But the bad thing about it is the tracking is horrible and is narrow. The wind style should be more massive. It should be more spread out and have a group effect, not just an individual effect where it's so narrow and only focused on one person. And it shouldn't have to be linear for it to make contact. As far as his snake thrust, it's a good move, primarily because of his poison and stopping effect when someone's charging towards you. Orochimaru was a good character. I just would like to play with him a little bit more to get better. But overall, he's kind of 50-50. Now on to our next character, Saratobi.
Now, Saratobi is a pretty solid character all around. He reminds me a lot of the one that I played with in Broken Bonds. And at this point in his life, he's old, and you sort of feel that when you're playing as him. Now, as far as movements, he's not too fast, but he's not too slow. So he has a balance in between. His age shows more so in his melee attacks, which are actually well fitted for him. So anybody who plays against the old man is going to have a hard time taking him down, mainly for two reasons. One, he's a defense type, which means he has a lot of health, and two, for his Jitsu selection, which are really good. Now, speaking about his Jitsu selection, it was very well selected, especially his ultimate. But first, let's start with his Earth style attack. It might seem useless and only good for like base battles or flag battles, but as far as defensive character, this move does really well for combat battles as well, especially in tight areas. If you're able to drop this Jitsu right in the middle of battle while everyone is tied up in combat, it's a wonderful aid and support not only to your allies but also to yourself.
Plus, the stopping power on this thing is insanely consistent, and it works even better when the opponent has no sub. So, going on to his next Jitsu, which is a Dragon Flame Bomb. I love this move for three primary reasons, right? One being the fact that it's armored, so no interruptions upon executing. It does decent amount of damage. If you have on like a ninjutsu booster or something along those lines, it'll do even more damage, man, which is wonderful. And it makes it hard for opponents with no subs to bounce back quickly. I love those ones that have like a lingering stagger effect. Those are the best. Now let's move over to his ultimate Jitsu, the Reaper Death Seal. I actually love this Jitsu. Now it might take a while to fill a gauge, but when it does fill, it's actually well worth it. And the reason being is because it's a one-hit kill. Or should I say, a one-hit seal. Anybody? No? Well, alright. The other thing I love about this Jitsu is the fact that once it makes contact, it increases their respawn time to about 15 to 20 seconds. And if it's going to increase their respawn time, then you want to go for the healer. 15 to 20 seconds with a team with no healing is guaranteed to give you at least 1 or 2 kills before the healer gets back in. And that can actually increase the chances of winning. But there is a downside to this Jitsu as well. It's a close range to mid-range attack. So if your opponent is too far away or they can escape you before you make it to them, then your Jitsu would just be canceled out and it'll be wasted. And the chances of you getting this type of Jitsu that takes this long to build back up to execute again probably won't happen. But for a 70-year-old man that they put in this game to be able to hang with the Baruto generation and all the other characters on here, man, I think they did a stand-up job. Strong salute to the general. Now on to Minato, the Yellow Flash himself. I think out of all the robes or outer garments of the Hokages, his and Tsunade's has to be the best. His design is legit, though I would like the Jonin outfit, which is basically him without the robe. Now, style of play and movement is where he really shines because he's fast. His movements work together with his Jitsus are just so smooth. When he moves, he leaves behind a streak of yellow because of his quickness. But I'm going to challenge that because I really don't believe that. I believe Minato suffers from bladder complications. Now I know. Many believe it's from his speed and that's why he leaves behind a streak. But I think it's actually a stream of urine. That's right. Minato cannot control his pee. Now let me briefly explain. If you remember reading manga chapter 7, you remember Minato went to battle and he came back to Naruto's mom. And upon further examination, they find out Minato had damaged his bladder. That anytime that he used Raijin speed after that, it put so much pressure on his urinary tract that he started leaking. You're welcome. Now back to the review. His standard movements and basic controls are already good. But how he transitions into his Jitsu is where everything comes to life for this character. Now he has 2 Jitsus, the Flying Raijin and the Flying Raijin 2, and of course his ultimate Jitsu, the Flying Raijin 3. Now the Flying Raijin 1 is an evasive move and the Flying Raijin 2 is an attack move, and I think the third is a combination of both of them, an evasive and an attack move, and I'll explain that in a bit. But first let's focus on the Flying Raijin 1. This is my second favorite skill next to the Sharingan. It's a 2-stage Jitsu First, you have to set it, and then second, you have to press the trigger again to return to the spot where you set it. Now, it's good for getting out of ultimates, capturing the flag, just about any jitsu, and even melee attacks. With most combos, there's a gap in between where you can sub out, but if you got your flying Raijin set, you can just use that and actually save your sub. Plus, I believe the regen time on this jitsu is about 9 to 11 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds quicker than getting your sub back. Now over to Flying Raijin 2. I love this jitsu. From the very first time that I seen it in the anime, it was utterly amazing, man. I honestly got chills watching this guy fight the Master Jiah, or whatever they called him in the series. It works well on sweats and anyone who keeps attacking. All you have to simply do is throw the jitsu out, teleport above them, knock them out the fight, or knock them down. The Raijin 1 and Raijin 2 are perfect choice jitsu selections for this character. And lastly, Flying Raijin 3. Earlier I said that it was an evasive and attack type jitsu, and I said that it was an evasive type jitsu because for like most of the ultimate jitsus, you have to execute them while your person is standing there. And that's fine, but the issue lies if you have low health and someone can attack you and kill you before you're able to complete the jitsu and knock out whatever opponents that are actually caught in it. So by it being evasive is that once he throws the kunais, he is completely gone. You can't see him, can't catch him, can't hit him, can't anything until the guy actually reappears. That's why it's evasive. Now, on the end of it being an attack, it's just simple, right? The kunais go out, he goes out, does his damage, knocks out the opponents, and this, that, and the other. And the best part about this jitsu, ultimately, is the fact that it's executed quickly. So it doesn't really take much build-up time or anything like that to load anything. He gets right to it and gets the business. Now over to our last character of the video. I had a lot of questions about this guy. I don't really want to spend too much time on him because I really don't need to. I don't think the jitsu selection matched this type of Kabuto, right? I think this is more so the one that we've seen in the original Naruto series, not Shippuden at all, right? The regeneration, the chakra scalpel, the illusion feather jitsu, like they did that in the Chunin exams. This isn't the kind of Kabuto to match with this outfit, sort of like it was with Sasuke not having Amaterasu or the arrow Susanoo and this, that, and the other. Do I think Kabuto is a good character? Absolutely. I think he's a good character, especially his healing jitsu. It restores a lot of health, and he has a healing tag, which makes it hard for you to kill him. And the chakra scalpel that confuses opponents is dope. And the feather illusion jitsu on this board, catch everybody in the air, everybody falls. It's a wonderful jitsu selection, just not for the character in which they've assigned it to in the timeline and where Kabuto lies in the series. He felt more like a support character than rather someone to be feared as he should have, like he was in the series. And with that being said, man, we're gonna wrap it up. Please drop a like down below and subscribe if you like the content and you're enjoying the videos. It's greatly appreciated. And I'm out.